conversations. I feel like I'm starting to like wake up from a dream. Honey, yeah, what? Oh, hey, So this gives me a couple of things. One, seems like a mother figure. She tells me she passes medically. There's a little bit of back and forth. She gives me the eye, like we don't really see what it is until it's too late to do something about it. And then she gives me the feeling or the euphoria that I'm having a dream of her. I'm almost like, what? Do I see you? What's going on? Okay. So maybe she visits you in dreams. I still smell her. Okay, well, I don't know why I just said that out loud like that, but I feel like we still smell her perfume in honor of her memory. You might even still have the perfume. This definitely has to be some sort of mom energy. Then we feel like we didn't get a chance to say goodbye, or it was all thrown on our lap too quickly. Like, I wasn't ready to lose my mom. I just wasn't ready to I could barely catch up. Or, you barely got time off of work. You barely got a couple days with her, feels like, before she ended up passing. You didn't get the heads up. It just happened too suddenly. We don't like that. I think it's just like maybe something that goes unseen for too long, and then by the time you kind of see what's going on, it's too late in the process. Does this resonate? Is this your mom and what ended up happening? Also, she shows me like this locket, like there's something inside of it, like there's a picture of her in something, or maybe like she's really showing me like a piece of her in jewelry, thumbprint, ashes, a handed down necklace type of thing. So I just really, but you know how lockets, they open up and they truly hold, but that's what it feels like she's truly in this necklace or something. I don't know, I'm delusional for the plot. It's my thing today. I like it. All right, tell me a little bit about this. And if you guys are loving these readings, you can go book one, or if you don't want your world on the internet, you can just book a private session. I have a couple spots left tomorrow. Don't hold me on that. But I think I do. I think God does. Someone says it doesn't sound like my mom. Okay, beautiful. Does it sound like... Hold on. Medical things you didn't see. Okay, I didn't necessarily... Okay, was it only the locket that gets thrown off? Because I feel like the locket's a metaphor on how we're choosing to honor her memory, or something that we can wear or she wears in honor of her memory. How did she end up passing is a big thing. Because if this was your mom, then it would have to be something that just bubbles up too quickly. It's like making, anything on the stovetop. You don't expect it to just bubble over whenever it ends up happening, but it still bubbles over too quickly. You almost don't see that boil. It's almost like a back and forth, but you feel like you didn't get enough time. So if we don't specifically have a specific locket, that's okay. It was more of a metaphor where we almost have something we wear in honor of her memory. It just seems so zoomed in. I'm like, can see from the perspective of this necklace / this locket thing. Do you have a necklace in honor of her memory? Man, I am like digging at my neck. I don't know why I'm so like... Okay, so she goes, yes, that's definitely right. Okay, how did she end up passing? And then you hear her and you see her in dreams, you still smell her. Now, whatever you have, whatever you wear, let's say you have a piece of jewelry or whatever you do in honor of her memory, she really feels alive in whatever this is. It feels like, if you wear their ashes every day, they're like literally with you, like a camera for them to look through. It just feels very real life. Cato, that's because she's an old soul and she's always been told it. She goes, write it down, she's an old soul, and that is true. And then I was like, what else can you tell me about this medical thing? And then I'll ask you. But she shakes a little like, It almost looks like a handful of pills. She almost like shakes a handful of pills. So let's say it's like, I don't know. It's almost something underlying that we think we have control of. We don't even expect it to go bad. It was almost like a surprise going bad. You're like, oh my God, yes. See, this is why we let me talk. This is why we just let's mush for a second and making bread, right? Ooh, I want to make bread now. Anyways, I'm such a fatty sometimes. Sorry about it. Okay, anywho. And she goes, I've got a couple good, she goes, a pantry. That's what I like. I was like, okay. Anyways, just got on a, went through the tulips with your mom here. Okay, great. And you say, oh my God, yes. So now I'll let you go. What ended up happening here? She loved her pantry. I know. She brings me into her. She goes, I love bread. I have this really good recipe. It's really just don't knead it too much. No, yeah, she starts going off. I'm like in this pantry. I'm like, I love it here. I love a good pantry too. Me too. Me too. At least we know we're talking about Mom. We don't know what the hell she meant about the locket, but what the hell, Mom? But that's fine. That's fine. After taking a cup of pills, did she have a male on the other side? The nurse brought her the cup. And then she showed you the bottom, the bottle. So one thing she says is she's very upbeat. This is why I asked if you had the male on the other side. Because she's very upbeat, shows me someone she's been waiting to see, and she says the words to me just metaphorically. She says, gotta get there somehow. And then you're like, the nurse brought him in. And I was like, yeah, did the nurse double him up? It almost seemed very good timing. Yeah, and we didn't see something about the pills. We don't know. The nurse just gave her pills and then she was done. Okay, so when someone says, gotta get there somehow, and then they show me their loved one on the other side, they are like, here, let me give you an analogy. And if it's the realest thing you ever heard, it is what it is, right? So let's say she's enjoying where she's at. She's very simple. Every day she coded after, yeah. So let's say we say, she's doing her crochet, watching her TV, going about her day, drinking her juice with her water, and having the same thing for breakfast, and she's genuinely liking it. And then she's like, man, if I could just see you and be up there with you, and oh my goodness, what a great day. And then we have our afternoon cup of pills and pass. I don't even blame the nurse, because the best a nurse can do is match up a prescription and hopefully not make any med errors. So if I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, and I'm manifesting that as a nurse is getting the meds ready, do I think the nurse made a mistake? Yeah, I would definitely say that outside looking in, that nurse definitely made a mistake. Was it an honest mistake? I'm going to say yeah, because it was very, man, if I could just see you, if I could just, we could just go do stuff every day, blah, 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 and then you just happen to take a couple pills that kill you? If I'm only looking through the grandma's perspective, what a great coincidence. They brought her back after COVID. She goes, that wasn't me. Oh my goodness. She's like, she goes, imagine me, and then I come back really angry, and then just die anyways. I was like, okay, cool. So she came back, a little sassier version of herself, if she came to all the way. That's a if, So she doesn't claim whatever actions happened in that moment. She does not claim as her own actions. Okay. So that's wild that they brought her back after Cody. I really hope that nurse doesn't blame herself, but how do you not? She didn't come back the same. How long was she back for? How long was she back for? And then she says, that wasn't me. Ugh, I don't know who that was. Ugh, a week? Weird. I bet that was weird. Remember how she said she didn't want you to see her like that? That's weird. Meeting her in that last week just would have felt weird. Talk about some autopilot. Talk about some hello. What's my name? What's my birthday? She don't fucking know. That database has left that physical body. However, she's next to herself. She may have it might feel very Alzheimer-y. Alzheimer's. Yes, it might feel very Alzheimer-y. Very like, do you remember me? No? Oh, there you are. Oh, you're mad now? You know, it may feel very roller coaster-ish. Just know she says, oh, that wasn't me. And I was like, how long did you have with that version of her? A week? Fucking weird. Okay? Probably because the exit out of the world was a little more unnatural. It was obviously brought on by the medication, you know. Had to get there somehow. You know, that is what she said. Love the dry practicalness of your family, honestly. Into it. I can respect the shit out of it.